What is going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to another video. This is episode 3 of the Beginner Fly Tying Kit by Togens Fly Shop. Super excited for this one. This is probably my all-time favorite fly. I love this fly for multiple reasons. I think, number one, it's caught every fish that I typically target. So whether it's resident, rainbows, browns, brookies, steelhead, salmon, it just works. And on top of that, the color combinations you can do, the different sizes you can do, it's completely unlimited, and lets you to really just use your creative juices as much as possible. I'm going to tie my favorite variation, which is more of an orangey copper variation, but again, using some of or actually all the materials available in your beginner fly tying kit. So from your kit, again, I want you to pull out your curved nymph hooks. Should be in size 12 or size 10. Again, you can use any kind of hooks that you have. If you have a different preference, by all means, please go ahead. From there, I also want you to go ahead and pull out these beautiful fluorescent orange 3.2 millimeter beads. What a fantastic color. And want you to put your hook in your vise. I'll go through some of the materials as we go through the fly. And then I'm going to get you to get your black 70 denier thread spooled up in your bodkin. And I will at times have even more weight. I'll add weighted wire to this, just to really get it down right into the fish's perspective. But for this fly, for this tutorial specifically, I feel it might complicate things just a little bit. I want you to be successful, so we're going to keep it simple, and we're going to go ahead and start our thread base right behind the bead there. I'm going to bring this back to about where the barb would be, or just after the hook point. Again, preference. I don't have brown goose biots, but that would kind of be my preference. Some would definitely argue that, but we're going to go ahead and just grab some of the goose biots that come in your kit. And you can't really go wrong. Dark brown, brown, black, they all work. And I'm going to go ahead and grab 2 of the larger pieces from it, because it is a little bit of a larger fly. If you saw the other video on the copper john, which was a size 14, a little bit smaller, we picked some of the smaller fibers from that goose biot. And same thing, using the natural curvature, you want these splayed out accordingly. I'm going to go ahead and place that on top. Bigger fly, bigger tail. Really love tying this fly. I have one fly box, not even lying. It's one of those 110 silicone cases. Half of the box is full of just these jumbo johns. Love it, love it, love it. So now we're going to go ahead and tie in that body now. And for that, just grab some of your wire and grab Oh, I don't know what the measurement is on this. I always grab more than needed. I just find it easier to handle. But I've grabbed a good healthy 5 to 6 inches of this. Again, I'm going to put that tip inside the bead there. I try to keep it to the underside of the fly, so underneath the fly. And then with having a slightly tapered body in mind always, I'll wrap back and forth until I get a sort of a profile that I'm happy with. And again, remember, everything is preference. You know, I hear so much negativity on social media about, oh, it should have been done this way, it should have been done that way. And you know what? Not even just on my patterns. I mean, on everybody's patterns. I mean, I follow some of the best tyers in the world, in my opinion, and they're just getting laced with criticism. You know what? They're thinking too hard about it. It's an art. You should just enjoy it, man. Do what you think you like. Do what you think will catch fish. I think the biggest takeaway that I can give is when you're tying flies, keep track of what actually works and catches fish. That's what I do. I'll catch a fish and then I'll grab that fly and I'll throw it in a separate box so that I know to tie more of those. So now we're going to wrap up our body. So keeping it, starting it nice and tight to the tail. Want to work your way up, keeping those wraps nice and tight, close together. Now I'm just going to tie that off. So I'm just going to adjust my base here. Keeps falling off. All right, so looking good. I almost want to fish that just like that. So next, we're gonna add some more of that Flashaboo. So grab your Flashaboo from your pack. That's this big package here. And grab one strand. I guess you could grab two. Or if you have another material of preference, maybe some sort of flash or tinsel or uni mylar, that'll work all the same. And we're going to tie that to the top of the hook shank. And then I'm going to tie this, and I'm going to finish it where I want to actually start building my thorax. And because it's a bigger fly, I like to have nice, big, fat, juicy thoraxes. We're going to let that hang to the side. We're then going to tie in our scud back. So I'm going to grab about an inch and a half of that. We're going to place that on top of the hook shank. Exact same way you tied in that Flashaboo material. And now before I finish where I wanted to start, I'm just going to make sure it's all nice and centered. Make sure your Flashaboo is nice and centered. There we go. Now for the thorax, I like to take I guess a two-stage approach. I'll do a thin layer of thorax followed by my legs, which I think is the best part about this fly. Just so that I'm not tying my legs right up against the shank. It really makes them sort of go 90 degrees. I find with a thin layer of dubbing on the thorax, it just helps you position the legs exactly the way you want them to. Okay, well, not that thin. Too much there, but I'll make it work. Now we're going to be grabbing these wonderful Sili legs. The color on these are so vibrant. What I want you to do is go ahead and cut 2 single strands off. And we're going to use 1 strand per side. And then find that midway point. And you can simply come in here and place it right in the middle of that thorax. Okay, we're going to do 1, 2 sort of just collecting wraps. I haven't really snapped down on it yet. And we're going to grab that other strand, find the midpoint. We're going to place that in the middle. And again, 2 collecting wraps. And I do this so that I can make adjustments so that I can see where my legs sit in regards to the hook shank. Whether I want the legs in the front to be more facing downwards or upwards. And then I'll do the same on the other side. And I like that there. And then from here, and before I put some more securing wraps, I'm going to add some more dubbing. I do this for 2 reasons. 1, I like to have a nice thick wing case. But 2, it covers up the thread wraps we just did in wrapping in those legs. So try to get a nice tight noodle. Then I'll cover it. I'm actually going to put a wrap behind the legs here. And I just want to keep it proportionate. Do another wrap, and you'll notice with the dubbing, it'll actually spread them out more and not be so much like this. So the more dubbing you put in the middle, it'll spread them out more. So I like that. I want to keep it that way. So now I'm going to bring my thread right up to the bead. To make the process easier, I don't typically do it. I'm going to recommend you cut the legs now, because to tie everything else in with these super long, lanky legs in here, it becomes a little bit difficult. So what I do to try to keep them all the same length is grab all 4 of your legs and simply pick a measurement. I would just go for it. If you're hesitant, don't go so short. Go longer. Go longer than what you think you want them to be, and give it a nip. You can keep them that long. I mean, I've caught fish with legs that long, or you can go shorter now. So grab them again. The trick is not to stretch them. Don't stretch them and cut, because then they're going to be a lot shorter than what you thought they were. So just hold them loosely, almost like you're giving a haircut, and then nip them off. I like that. These back tails, they're just a tad longer than the tail. Maybe we'll cut them off a little shorter. Here we go. So that's good. I'm going to keep mine like that. If you guys want to go shorter, by all means, go shorter. Now we're going to pull over our wing case. Oops, nope. Skipped a step. Oof, almost missed the best part. The legs. The nice thing about the about the Jumbo John, is that it's really sort of buggy. And to do that, we're going to use the Hen Saddle that's in your beginner fly tying kit. Go ahead and pull one out. And I want you to take out all the bottom fuzzy stuff and leave a naked stem, just like this. And leave it long, because it's going to help you sort of wrap it as we wrap the hen around. It's going to make it a little bit easier for you. So I want you to keep it just like that. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to preen the fibers back. Just leave a little bit of the tip of the feather like that. That's going to be our tie-in point. That's too long, too big, so we're going to nip that off and leave a little triangle. Okay, so from there you may need to brush your legs back. What I do is I'll tie it on the side here. Not too tight. It is a delicate feather, so I'll do 2 or 3 loose wraps, and then on the third one I'll sort of crank it down. And by leaving enough room behind the bead, you see how it just kind of got sucked in there. So it's kind of hidden now. Otherwise I would have had to bend the stem back, wrap over it, tie it again. Okay, so that's in place now. And now what we're gonna do is you can grab some hackle pliers if you think it's easier to grab the tip of the stem here. I'm just gonna use my fingers and just in making sure that these feathers stay back as you wrap. So preen them back, make sure they're not overlapping each other. And I like it nice and buggy. And then when you're left with just the stem, then we're gonna tie that in. Make sure that's nice and secure. Then we can come in here, nip off the stem. Now if you want, I mean this is really, really buggy, really, really hairy, which I love. You can preen these back because we're gonna flip over our scud back now. You can preen these sort of down and back to get them out of the way, or you can nip them off, whatever you find is easier. I'm just gonna preen them back. I like a lot of legs on these bigger jumbo johns. So I'm gonna grab my scud back now. Get those legs out of the way. And secure that in. Okay, so just like the copper john, a slight pull of the scud back, nip, and it's gonna suck back underneath. Gonna grab that flashaboo now, give it that nice sort of hot spot, secure that in right on the center. Again, you see how I'm constantly bringing the legs back so they're not in my way. Okay, this is a little too high for me, so I'll come in here. You can typically just rip them off, or you can come in here really with your scissors and just nip them off. Now we're ready for a whip finish. Alrighty. Now we're going to put a nice 1 or 2 healthy globs of the UV clear finish. So from your kit again, hopefully you have it set up by now, and it's the UV clear finish by Loon. And I'm going to start with a thin layer. So I find with a first thin layer, the next layer gets easier. So just like that, very thin. You can barely tell it's there. And my battery's dying. And then I'll come in with another layer and really sort of build up that wing case. hit that with the torch again. Man, you can see how that bead and the legs just pop when the UV light hits it. Maybe that's what makes the fly so successful, but man, I love this fly. You can tie it in so many colors. There's so many variations of hen, and the legs you can use different color wire. Probably one of my all-time favorite flies. So that is one Jumbo John. Super juicy, super buggy. Hope you give it a shot. Wish you much luck on the water. Thanks for watching. Tune into the next one, guys. Cheers.